So can you say something about your visit in the garden?
Oh my gosh. Well, it was something that I've been thinking quite a bit since last time, since a couple of years ago when I met Gabrielle in Milan. So it's quite emotional in a way because of my connection to Gabrielle and the stories I heard about this place and my own history. So, and I guess also my present here in Italy, the one, you know, because I keep coming back to Milan and to work here. So it's, yeah, it's quite emotional on a few levels. And I think it's, well, it's even more impactful and beautiful than I thought. And I think it's a very special place. And I think what struck me the most was probably not the fact that it's about the people that we lost, but it's the people we still have, maybe. And thinking of what goes on now. Like I said to Gabrielle, who would be the people that will come on the new plagues? They're actually doing their deeds. And it makes you, makes you shiver, I guess. And
as an artist, what you can do for this idea of the writers in the world? No?
It's an interesting question. I'm not sure I can answer it. Probably take, you know, there's many levels of answering it. In somehow when you speak about it, I think of him often as an artist. It's not a very, I don't think if it matters, if it really matters. One thing for sure, when you make art, at least you're not causing damage, and that's a plus in the world. But it's not like you can change. Well, it's not like you can really make a change like people, like real people who get this. Okay, no. But what you can is take a stand, and maybe that's not, doesn't seem important. And I always think then when I think about that, and I'm not comparing artists or myself in any way to this, but maybe what you do as well. This, you remember the in Tiananmen Square, the guy who stood there, you know, and no one heard about him after. You know, what did he do? He took his own life almost because he went there, stood. But if you imagine how long that memory lives and what he did to the DNA of us as human race, this is valuable to extreme. And then in terms of what, so for example, I've just spoke about how we are in common, more in common as people, and this is something that, following your question, Gabriella, but then when I think about that, that gives me ideas about this, because in my work I do make things, I do find a common between humans, and maybe this is something I can find in a way to describe something that exactly shows that, shows the connection between people, the empathy, rather than the other side. And I actually think this is what art does, because art doesn't care who is the initiator of the story or something, and it's always, there's always a value to it, like in the tree here, of how much, you know, when we are moved by art as viewers or as listeners, or, you know, into a theater, it's about how much we find ourselves within what we see, the work. That's, I think, the level of the connectivity that you get. The kind of, that's when you care about what you see here. It's about you. It could be told by an Alaskan, you know, indigenous people that you've never been, you've never seen, and it means nothing to you, but then you feel the story. It's a human story, and the basic threads are alike. So I think abstractly, more conceptually, this is something I could probably find a way and feel very privileged to work with, celebrate, point out, something like this. I'm not sure if I answered, but yeah, that's what I think.
Think about the idea of universal rights, no? Because sometimes they say the rights are only for Jews. But you came from Israel, and I think you have a different opinion on it.
Oh yes, definitely. I don't think, also coming from a mixed family, my wife is Chinese, I don't think any people have ownership on suffering or righteousness or anything for that matter. For my experience in the world. I've seen and read about humanity at its best and it's its worst in different places with different people. And what we're talking about here, especially here in this garden, is these qualities, is what makes us human, what connects us. And these have no color, have no religion, have no sex, sexual orientation or anything like that. These are just very universal, universal human traits that need to be preserved and taught and appreciated and highlighted, I think, without any borders.
Do you think that this kind of garden can contribute to prevent evil, to prevent hate somehow?
Yes, I think the minute you bring kids here, the minute you bring schools here, and just the fact that when we started walking, Gabriel knows every sign, every person, the story. And he was explaining about the first tour, and in my mind I was thinking, damn, he thinks he knows all these stories, you know? And if we think of that, that's only the lucky ones that we know about. So if you take kids that come from, different backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds or religious backgrounds, immigrants or not, and you bring them here and you show them the common things between people. Because with my work as an artist, I always find I deal with portraiture, I deal with people. Maybe that's an idea that I could follow with this. It's how we focus on the difference as humans. There's so much more that are alike and common between us. Without even considering language, again, religion, everything. Still, there's so much more in common than the difference, and we just focus on the difference. And I think this garden could do just the opposite.